Well, hello everyone, and welcome to AJ117, Introduction to Terrorism and Homeland Security. My name is Tony Farrar, and of course, I am your instructor for this semester. So this video lecture is going to cover the syllabus review. So we do have a lot to cover. A couple of quick housekeeping things or reminders would be that make sure you take the time to go through the introduction orientation module in your course Canvas in its entirety. Make sure you take the time to review the actual syllabus in its entirety, and make sure you take the time to watch this video review, which I hope you're watching right now, in its entirety, because these things will really help you be quite a bit more successful in the class. So let's go ahead and jump right into our review for today. So starting at the top of the page, if you're following along, again, this is AJ117, Introduction to Terrorism and Homeland Security. The section number is 3603. This is the spring 2022, 2022 already, online course. Go down a little bit further and you have the instructor information. Note that I am located out of the Menifee campus. I have my email, my Twitter information listed. I also have my desk phone number here, and even though we're working online, you can still call and leave me a message, or you can email, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. I have a link to the MSJC Criminal Justice Club Facebook, and this is a great group of students that kind of get together outside of class every once in a while, and we do specific or special training or presentations by experts in the field of law enforcement. Sometimes we do tours of facilities, etc. So if you want to kind of get to know some of the folks that are in the Criminal Justice Club, you can check out their Facebook page. And then finally, I have a link to the career education website where you can not only find different career paths that fall under career education, but you could also get the actual kind of pathway for each degree or certificate. You can also schedule or meet with counselors, etc., online. So a really good website with a lot of good information. Now, we are online, but again, I am stationed basically out of the Menifee campus in the 3000 building. The actual, room number is 3003. If we were on campus, these would be my daytime office hours. However, since we are online, if you note right here, I have online office hours via Zoom, and it's every Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. You can log into my virtual office and you can attend office hours. Now, it's a good opportunity for asking questions, or just learning about different things. I'll stay on from 6 to 7 again every Wednesday. It's not mandatory, but it's not a bad thing to pop in every once in a while as well. With that being said, if need be, I'm available at other times by appointment. Email is the best way to get in touch with me. If you do email me, please place the following in the subject line of the email. So I have an example here. It's for our AJ117 3603 Introduction to Terrorism. And the reason I have you do this is not only do I have students in this course, I have students in multiple courses, and this is just a faster way for me to recognize which class it's coming from. I can't remember where every student is in every single class, so it will definitely help me identify who you are faster and be able to respond to you directly with whatever information that you need. So I would really appreciate that. Now, if you do email me, please note that all of your email should come from your MSJC email account. Do not use your personal email. Also, if you are going to submit a written assignment in Canvas this semester, and you're going to, so pay close attention, please submit it in Microsoft Word. If you send a document to me in another word processor format like WordPerfect or Pages, or if you send it through Google Docs, not making it a Google Doc, but if you send it through the program of Google Docs, there's no guarantee that I can open it. If I can't open it, I can't read it. If I can't read it, I can't grade it. If I can't grade it, you won't get credit for it. So make sure you use Microsoft Word. If you don't have Microsoft Word and you have another processing format, etc., even if it's Google Docs, just make sure that you don't send it through Google Docs, that you save it as a separate attachment, convert the format into a PDF, and then upload that directly into Canvas. But if you go through Google Docs, sometimes it tweaks the system a little bit and I can't actually read it. So if you have any other questions or concerns or what have you, get with me and I'm sure we can figure out what to do. Now, we're at the bottom of the page. If you're following along, the syllabus is a living document and subject to change during the semester. I typically don't like to change things, but if I do, you will be made aware of any changes as they occur in the form of an email or an announcement. And changes could be something as simple as there was maybe a question was worded wrong on a quiz. It didn't copy over correctly. Sometimes there's little glitches. So don't panic. I can fix all those things, but just email me direct and I can get a hold of that. But I will use the announcement tool, if you will, to send you information on any changes. I may also send out information on certain events, maybe guest presenters in an online class, or a career fair or a job fair, or an actual job opening at a local agency, etc. So make sure that you set up your electronic device to be able to receive notifications, emails, etc. And then finally, please note that while I do send out reminders on assignments and due dates, all of this information is located within the syllabus. Therefore, it really is your responsibility to keep track of due dates for all of your assignments. Okay, so it's not my responsibility to remind you, even though I'm going to, of tests, quizzes, or any other type of assignments, because it is contained in the syllabus. But I will do my best to give you a reminder here and there. And typically I'll send you a reminder maybe at the beginning of the week and maybe at the end of the week, just to let you know that, hey, the weekly module is open, or hey, the weekly module is getting ready to close. So if you haven't figured it out by now, and I'll show you what it looks like in the course Canvas at the end of this discussion, that the course is formatted in a modular type format, meaning each week is equivalent to a module. So the class will open on, let's say, Monday at 8 a.m. and close the following Sunday night at 11 p.m. Between that time is when you're going to do your assignments, okay? And that encompasses a module, if you will. But I'll show you what that looks like in a moment. All right, so what is this course? Well, again, AJ117, Introduction to Terrorism and Homeland Security. And this course is going to cover a lot of things, the historical and contemporary issues that kind of are interrelating to terrorism, intelligence, and homeland security. It represents not only a scholarly approach to the study of terrorism, but it also incorporates some real-world experience of federal agents and law enforcement officers that are tasked with preventing terrorism in our country. And it's designed to help students develop a working knowledge of people, ideas, organizations, and current issues as it relates to major incident response, homeland security, terrorism, etc. So down here we have the program learning outcomes, the course learning outcomes, and the course learning objectives. Now, I'm not going to go through these individually, but these up here, the program learning outcomes, are the outcomes that are set by the Criminal Justice and Corrections Program, our program here at MSJC. Next, we have the learning objectives for the course itself. And then finally, we have the course learning objectives. These are the outcomes, and then these are the course learning objectives. Okay, as far as the textbook goes, you can see it's Terrorism, Intelligence, and Homeland Security, the second edition. There is a first edition, and if you want to use the first edition, that's fine as well. But the second edition has a couple of other things, but the first edition will work just fine. So either one, first or second edition. Now, let me give you my pitch for the textbook. What I tried to do is keep the weekly lectures to about 45 to 60 minutes, kind of the same time frame that I would lecture in an actual on-campus class. And because there is so much information, there's a lot of terms, a lot of theories, a lot of things in each one of the chapters, it's very difficult for me to get everything into a 60-minute lecture. I can't cover every component. So having the textbook will help you fill the gaps, if you will. There's a lot of case studies that are listed also inside of the textbook, which will help you learn not just how to, memorize the terms or learn what the terms mean, etc., but they will help you to apply what you're learning. And having the textbook really will allow you to add some context to whatever it is that we're talking about. So my pitch to you would be, I really suggest that you pick up the textbook for this particular class, whether it's the e-text, whether it's the loose leaf, which you need a little binder for to keep the pages from falling out, etc. That is the least expensive version, or you can actually order the textbook, or even the first edition. But you guys are way better at figuring out where to get textbooks at and things than I am. So that's some information on the textbook. Now, I have listed here the California Penal Code. It's not the primary textbook, but we might refer to this book from time to time. If you don't have a copy of it, that's okay. I've included a link to legalinfo.gov where you can find any related California code. And the reason that we want to at least be able to find a place where these codes are would be because we're going to look up different statutes. Now, in California, we have what's called statutory law, which means it's written, okay? And because it's written, there's going to be a code, right? A book of these codes, okay? They're laws, so they're penal laws or penal codes, as you would say. And every state has one, and sometimes there's different laws. Some of the terrorism laws are just a little bit different from state to state. Now, the federal terrorism laws are kind of the same across the United States, etc. But you might see some tweaks from state to state. Texas has its penal code. Florida has its penal code. California has its penal code, etc. So that's why the need, at least to be able to access a couple of codes for research or what have you. All right, so now let's talk about the check-in. So I mentioned earlier that this course runs in a modular format. It opens on Monday and it closes the following Sunday. And each module is going to be referred to basically as kind of a week. It's a weekly module. So for the check-in, okay, our class is going to open on Tuesday, January 18th. Normally it would open on Monday, but Monday's a holiday, so it's going to be Tuesday, just this time. Make sure that you check in using the discussion board, number one, discussion board, and as your official check-in for the class. And as part of the check-in, you're going to need to complete a short 10-question syllabus quiz. So again, you're going to check in on Tuesday, January 18th. That's when the module opens. It normally opens on Monday, okay, but Monday's a holiday. You will have until Sunday the 23rd at 11 p.m. to do the course check-in. All right. Now, the course check-in, let me tell you exactly what it is so there's no misunderstanding. It's the two parts that we talked about. It's the discussion board and the syllabus quiz. It also encompasses reading the syllabus in its entirety, watching this video lecture, which I hope you're doing right now, in its entirety, and also going through the introduction and orientation module in its entirety, because these two assignments here, the discussion board for the check-in and the syllabus quiz, they are located in week 1 module, which is the orientation introduction module. And I will show you what that looks like at the end of the lecture, so don't panic. You'll actually get to see it, so you'll be able to kind of understand it a little bit better. Okay. So let's now kind of move towards the course guidelines. So this is a somewhat fast-paced class with a lot of reading and information that's going to be provided to you every week. And because of that, you need to keep up with the reading. Don't just rely on the PowerPoint lectures or the video lecture to get you through the class. Some of the legal terms, right, might be difficult at first to understand because they might be new to you. Therefore, you need to read the textbook chapters, another pitch for the book, carefully and fully to understand them and to also add some context to the subject matter that we're going to be talking about. And again, the book has several little case studies which are really, really important. Now, in some cases, you might have to look up a word or a term on the internet, penal code, or in a law dictionary. But if you have a problem with any concept or theory or key term, whatever, let me know, and I will discuss it in Canvas in our course general discussion area. And I'll show you what that looks like again at the end of the lecture here. There are two basic general discussion areas. One is the donut shop. That's where students can post any question at all, and either I'll jump on and answer it or another student can answer it. And then I have something called the squad car. And that's a discussion area that's just student to student. I don't monitor that. Anyway, and I'll show you what that looks like. But to kind of wrap it up, this is not an easy class, and it's going to require a lot of work on your part if you want to do well. However, this class can be extremely rewarding from all of the information and knowledge that you're going to gain, not only about terrorism, not only about homeland security, but about major incident response as well, and how we do that in the United States. Okay, so with that being said, what then are some expectations that I have? Course expectations. Well, you're going to participate in a variety of activities that my goal is we will be able to achieve some of those learning objectives that we saw earlier in the syllabus review. But let's touch on a few of these specific course objectives. So first would be reading the materials. So reviewing the PowerPoints, the lecture notes, articles, and the chapters in your textbook. And keep in mind that each module has an introduction, which is going to have some information for you to either watch or read as well. Next, view the weekly videos relating to each chapter. So again, the video lectures, the videos that might be in the introduction at the beginning of each module or chapter, the video for the case study, the video for the extra credit. Next, participating in thoughtful and timely discussions via the discussion board. And we're going to talk about discussions in a couple of minutes. Next would be completing the online course matching exercise. Now, this is a non-graded assignment, if you will. And basically, it deals with key terms. Because there are so many key terms, one way to help you learn key terms would be to kind of be able to match them up. So on one side of the page, you'll see a term, and on the other side of the page, you'll see some definitions, and your job is to match them up. And you can take this as many times as you want, and this will help you learn a lot of the different key terms. Next, completing the online and timed quizzes. Next, completing the online and timed exams, completing the case study, and then finally completing the midterm writing assignment. Now, just kind of please note that failure to participate in the discussion boards, missing quizzes or exams, failing to turn in any other assignments, or missing a combination of these activities may cause you to be dropped from the class. So it really is important that you keep track of due dates. And one other reason to keep track is that typically every semester on the last day before, usually during finals week, about 5% of a class will email me and say, well, I'm 5 points away from an A. What can I do to get those 5 points? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into the grade book and look to see, did you turn in most of your assignments? Did you do the extra credit? Did you do the case study? Those things that would help you to get points, right? Because it makes it difficult for me to round up or something similar like that. And typically, a lot of times I will round up a little bit, depending upon how the class is doing, etc. So, I understand the importance of that, but I also understand that if you didn't make the effort, then it's hard for me to round up. And hopefully that kind of makes sense. So just doing the assignments is one way for you to be successful in this particular class. So hopefully that makes a lot of sense. All right. So synchronous meetings. This course is what we call asynchronous, which means that you do your work between a certain time and a certain time. So like for this course, it's, it opens on Monday and closes on the following Sunday. But during the semester, we will have some opportunities to meet online via Zoom in a synchronous meeting where there's a specific date and time. And these meetings are not mandatory, but they will be announced in advance and will be an opportunity for people to log in and exchange information, ask questions, and cover different topics. Don't forget, I have the weekly office hours already. That would be a synchronous meeting, right? It's every Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. It's not mandatory, but if you want to pop in and ask questions, you can. And if you don't, then that's fine as well. What I typically like to do, and a good example for a synchronous meeting would be the midterm paper. Sometimes, even though there's a separate module that has a video on how to do your paper, how to do a reference page, how to cite your references and all that, sometimes students still have questions, right? So I will set a special synchronous meeting on a certain night where we can all log in. Again, it's not mandatory. And if you have extra questions about the paper, that would be a good time for us to talk about that. So hopefully that makes sense. So how do you know then that you're ready for an online course? Well, some of you are definitely ready because you've taken some online classes. And for others, this might be your first online class. But please make sure that you're ready for an online class. You've already read about the course expectations, but you need to make sure that you understand what's expected of an online student, right? And I have a couple of links that hopefully will help you. So the first one is a link to the MSJC online learning page. And the second one is a link to the same page, but the page that has several video tutorials like how to navigate through Canvas, how to set up your email, how to upload an assignment, different things like that. So hopefully those are things that will help you especially if this is your first or maybe even your second online class. Now, kind of staying in the same realm of online and technology and etc., know that you are responsible for your computer equipment and internet connection separate from the college campus. So you basically need to plan your coursework to be able to deal with or accommodate some type of computer-related problem on your end, okay? And really what I'm asking you to do is to have a backup plan. If the college website goes down and you can't access Canvas or your assignments, don't panic. I'll make sure you have plenty of time to get things done. We'll move the due dates and all kinds of things like that. However, what I want you to do is to have a backup plan should something happen on your end, okay? So that way you don't fall behind. So if your computer goes out one day and it's going to take a day to get fixed or something like that, how are you going to stay caught up? What's the backup plan for that? And that's what I'm asking you just to think about. So along with that, I have some, the more major components, if you will, of Canvas that are typically used. A couple of really important things. The first one would be, make sure that you check your announcements, your emails, etc., at least twice a week. It's really important that you are getting up-to-date information that I might be sending out. But one of the major areas to look at, and we'll go into the course Canvas when we're done and show you, would be this area here called modules. And this is important because this is where your weekly assignments are going to be at. And I'm going to title each module so you're going to know exactly which week the information is for. So example, Module 1 could be titled Unit 1 or Chapter 1. And Unit 1 or Chapter 1 is going to contain all of the assignments to complete Week 1. And that unit might contain the video lectures, the chapter PowerPoints, the links to other videos or articles or exams or quizzes or guides or discussions, etc. Everything is built into those weekly modules. There are 3 areas or 3 things that are not in the weekly modules. One is the midterm paper, That has its own module. The second is the case study. That has its own module. And the third is the extra credit. That has its own module. Otherwise, everything you need for each week is within that module. And the reason for that, the goal for this, is so that you're able to find everything for each week in one folder, in one place, in one module. So hopefully that's helpful, and I'll show you what it looks like. Next would be discussions. This is where discussions are going to occur on various topics. Next would be announcements. This is where you're going to find announcements for the class, including relevant information on any changes. Maybe there's a mistake on a question that was copied over, or something didn't quite copy through. Sometimes every once in a while, you get one of those things that happen. I might need to extend a due date, or send you something for extra credit that might be time sensitive that I want you to look at. There might be a career fair or a job fair or an actual job opening. All of these things will come through your course announcements. Next would be the grade book. And this is important because that's where your grades are. And then finally would be the extra credit module. This is the area where you can find the extra credit assignment. Now, please note that the extra credit sometimes is date specific, which means that it might open on this day and close on a different day, right? So you have a time frame. So when you look at your extra credit, make sure that you read the assignment, okay? And take note of the date. So there's one extra credit assignment built into the course already. And then I also have what's called other extra credit, okay? And that will be extra credit. It's a separate module as well, but I will send stuff out to you. So if there's something happening that I want you to watch on, on TV, or there's an article I want you to read and give me feedback on, and I'll give you extra credit, whatever it is, I will send that out to you. And you'll submit whatever I'm asking for in the module marked other extra credit. Okay, so how do we learn all of this stuff? Well, we've got the video lectures, the news articles, the guest speakers, visual aids, videos, PowerPoints, class participation, discussion boards, case studies, written assignments, quizzes, exams. So there's a lot of things that we're going to do in order to, basically impart all of this information to you. And also note that you're always welcome to attend any of the in-class, it'll actually be online because we're in an online class, presentations from any guest speakers I might have. So if I have a guest speaker, let's say they bring in my intro to criminal justice class, there's going to be a guest speaker about bomb dogs. And so I'm able to get somebody. I'll make sure that you are notified that there's a guest speaker and it's going to be about bomb dogs and it's going to be in this class. Here's the link, here's the date and the time, and you can attend if you want. So that's pretty cool as well. So you're welcome in any other class for any presentation. Okay, so as always, if you need any type of assistance, please let me know. I am here to make you successful. If you need any additional academic support, this is available to all students at the Learning Resource Center, the LRC, at MSJC, or through the help desk. And both of these, including counseling, are online, okay? So you can look in the student area of the homepage for the college. Okay, so quickly, let's talk a little bit about Student Code of Conduct because we are online. Now, this is available in the MSJC catalog. I encourage everyone to read it. If you don't have one, it's okay because you can find it online. And really what we're talking about would be discussion boards, okay? And there's something out there called netiquette. It's, network etiquette, or kind of what they call the etiquette of cyberspace. In other words, a set of rules for how to properly conduct yourself online as it relates to discussion boards. Now, Virginia Shea has defined the issues and discussed them at length in her book called Netiquette. And I have here a link to a brief summary of her core netiquette rules. It doesn't cover everything, but it might help you if you do have some questions. My thing to everybody is that just understand that we're all different. Thank goodness, because if we were all the same, life would just be totally boring. But because we're all different, we're going to have some different opinions, right? And discussions, again, it's a time of reflection. We're supposed to learn and listen to other people's viewpoints on things. It doesn't mean you have to agree. I'm just asking that whether you agree or disagree, that we are all professional, that if we do disagree, that we conduct ourselves in a professional manner and we disagree professionally as well. So we're all adults, and I think you know what I'm talking about. So we're not going to beat that up anymore. Exams and quizzes. So the quiz and exam questions are going to come directly from the textbook or from the lectures, the video lectures, the PowerPoints, or any other designated article, video, introductory article, video that I might post or send to you, etc. So each week you're going to have a reading assignment, a video lecture, a short 10-question quiz covering the corresponding chapter, and either a discussion topic or just a question. So it's still going to be a discussion, but it might be a certain topic, or I'm going to ask you a question. Now, in addition, there's going to be 3 chapter exams, a midterm writing assignment, and a case study. And in each weekly module, don't forget we have that key terms exercise, right? Where you can, it's again, a chance for you, it's kind of a matching exercise where this will help you learn the different key terms, because there really are quite a bit, and you can take it as many times as you want. Okay, so discussion boards. Discussion boards are typically what I call reflective in nature. Therefore, they're meant to kind of make you think about a certain subject, right? And perhaps maybe research it, consider other perspectives, and then provide a response. And in this class, you're going to have a total of 13 discussion boards and 1 course check-in discussion board. So that's going to be 14 total, okay? 13 discussion boards, 1 course check-in, so 14 total. Each discussion board is worth up to 10 points. Now, when responding to discussion boards, make sure you read the information or watch the corresponding video in that discussion area, and then respond with a complete, well thought out response. Now, you can submit your discussions in a couple of formats. You can do it the old-fashioned way, which means that it's written, it's text, right? You compile your discussion post and you post it. Or you can do it via video through Canvas Studio. And a lot of students have found that way kind of interesting. And it's actually nice to listen to you guys talk about a certain topic. Now, if you use the video method, make sure that you either upload the video or the link at least, so that way I can access the video. If you do it the old-fashioned way, the written way, which is totally fine, for full point credit, your first post needs to be at least 5 sentences in length. Don't copy the response from another student. The more focused and thought out the response, the more points you're going to receive, okay? And don't just respond with, I agree. Tell me what you think. A lot of times there's not a right or wrong answer. I'm just asking your opinion about what you think. Now, with that being said, you can just say, I agree or I don't agree as it relates to another student's post. And feel free to respond or comment on another student's post, because this is how we do a discussion, right? This is how we get everything going. All right. So now let's talk about a couple of assignments. Your case study for this semester is what they call the ticking time bomb scenario. And it's got a question. I give you some information about it. I have a question. I give you a little bit of information, okay? And I ask a couple of questions on, the scenario right here, all right? And here, I kind of want you to pick a side. Now, when you go into your course Canvas, there's going to be some videos that go along with this. I didn't put the video links in your syllabus here, but it's in the course Canvas, and I'll show you that when we're done. All right. Now, you can submit this basic, and here's the questions here. Okay, as you start to kind of read down here, I want you to answer these questions that I put here. Okay. Now, you can submit this assignment in one of 3 formats. You can do it written, you can do a PowerPoint, or you can do a video presentation. And if you do it written, there's the information on what I'm looking for, right? The directions. If you do a PowerPoint, here's the directions, and be creative. And if you do a video, again, you can use Canvas Studio, or you can use YouTube and then upload the link to YouTube. It really doesn't matter. Either one is fine. Just make sure that I have access. What I want you to really note is whatever format you choose, you have to answer the questions. Okay? So when you look at the scenario here and you go down here, you need to answer these particular questions, okay, in order for the assignment to be complete. All right, extra credit is the Richard Jewell case. Super famous case about the Centennial Park bombing, okay? And here are the questions that I want you to research. And again, you get the same options. You can submit this assignment in one of three formats: written, PowerPoint, or video, okay? And in the course Canvas, again, you'll see some videos that'll help you kind of get some ideas on the case itself if you're really not familiar with it. All right, so kind of in summary, as we start to kind of wrap up, this course again follows a weekly format, right? A modular format. So all lectures, PowerPoints, quizzes, exams, discussions, etc., and any of the other assignments are going to be in those weekly modules, and they're going to be posted and available on Monday mornings at 8 a.m., except for the very first week because it's a holiday, right? And then all assignments are due by 11 p.m. on the following Sunday. So as an example, and here we are right here, for week 1, this class will open on Tuesday the 18th at 8 a.m. because Monday's a holiday. You'll have until Sunday the 23rd at 11 p.m. to complete everything in the week 1 module. The week 1 module, okay, I'll show you what it is when we get to the course Canvas. Remember, it's the discussion board check-in, it's the syllabus quiz, it's watching this video, which I hope you're doing right now, reading the syllabus, and going through the week 1 orientation introduction module. As a general rule, there are no makeup assignments. The reason is you have 6 days to complete each of the weekly assignments. Therefore, it's up to you to get the work done. Now, I do know that life happens, right? There's kids, there's family, there's spouses, there's jobs, there's everything. So I know things happen. So when those things come up, they will be evaluated on a case-by-case basis. And I know there's like jury duty, military deployment, medical things. I get all that, okay? But again, make sure that you keep track of the due dates of your assignments, okay? Because you don't want to fall behind. Keep in mind, it's your responsibility to make time, set time aside for completing the assignments. Do not wait until the last minute. It doesn't work. And again, while I'll do my best to remind you of due dates, ultimately, it's your responsibility to plan accordingly. So here's a couple of helpful hints. There really are 3 main issues that I see with students who experience problems online. The first is the inability to keep track of due dates. You need to be able to pace yourself, set time aside, and keep track of assignment due dates. And don't wait until the last hour of the week to do your assignments. Second, thinking that because there are a bunch of these little discussion boards and little quizzes that missing a bunch of them won't matter. The reality is it does, because missing assignments start to add up quickly, and before you know it, you're behind, and then you fall into that 5% that's going to email me on the last day of class asking me to make up some assignment because you're 4 points short of the next grade. Okay? So just if you do the assignments, you'll be fine. That's a very honest answer. Okay. So here's the grading scale. Okay? And I'll let you kind of take a look at that. Here are your assignments. Okay? So you have 3 chapter exams. You have your chapter discussions, you have the check-in discussion, the syllabus quiz, your midterm paper, your chapter quizzes, case study, and then you have a FEMA certification. So there's a week in here where you're going to basically do a self-pace study, and you're going to get certified by FEMA, okay, for what they call incident command. It's IS100. It's a very basic course, and I'll talk a little bit more about it in a video. So here's your total possible points. And then remember, yes, I do have an extra credit, assignment built in along with other ones that I will send out. All right, here are some important dates. If you need any other type of assistance, please let me know, any type of accommodation, etc. I am here to make you successful. I want you to learn, and I want you to be successful in this class. Here is some information on your midterm paper. This is exactly what I'm asking you to research and write about. All of the directions are listed here. Again, in your course Canvas is a module that talks all about how to put your paper together. So don't panic about the paper. Quickly, plagiarism, everybody knows what that is. Copying a part of a sentence from a text, article, news story, paper without acknowledging or citing the source is considered plagiarism. So the best rule of thumb is if you didn't think of it yourself or it's not common knowledge, cite it. If you're not sure, cite it anyway. And that video that I'm talking about, as it relates to your midterm paper, it shows you how to do what we call in-text citations, okay, and how to do a reference page. So check that out, and I'll show you where it's at. Okay, so we're going to wrap up now, and then we're going to jump into the course Canvas, but I wanted to show you, this is what a weekly module looks like, well, as far as your syllabus goes. Week 1, open the 18th, close the 23rd. This is what we're doing. Week 2, Chapter 1, defining, conceptualizing, and understanding terrorism. There's the video lecture. There's a quiz, and there's a discussion board, right? Okay, so, and they look the same, right, for consistency's sake. Now, notice in week 6, you're going to get an extra assignment. So week 6, we're going to cover Chapter 5, which is terrorist organization and structures. You have the video lecture for Chapter 5. You have your quiz for Chapter 5 because you want to learn about Chapter 5. Then you have your first chapter exam, which covers Chapters 1 through 5. And then you have your discussion post for the week. As you go down further, you'll start to see when things are due. Okay? Week 12, your midterm paper is due. Week 13, you don't have any of these assignments. This is when you're going to do your FEMA certification. Okay? And everything is in the module. All right? So hopefully that kind of explains it to you a little bit. Now we're going to jump into the course Canvas for a second and take a quick peek. Now it's not published yet, but this will at least give you a look at what you're going to see. When you log in, you'll see the homepage. Okay? Got a couple of videos, the course description. We can go all the way down. Here's my information with my email. Office hours, Wednesdays from 6 to 7. Here's the link for my office hours and a little video on how to use Canvas. You can go back up here to like start here, and this will take you to the introduction orientation module. There's a little video that I'm going to spend about 3 minutes with you talking about a couple of just words of encouragement, etc. Go Boise State, just so you know. You can comment on this video, but you don't have to. And then you can either go to the modular view or you can just click next. And here's a little bit about me as an instructor. Okay, and here's some pictures when I was on a Homeland Security mission over in Israel. And then here you can keep clicking. And this is, I'm walking through the orientation module. Okay, now if you want to look at the modular view on your navigation panel, you can go to modules. And this is what it looks like from the modular view. That's the home page. We were just here. Okay, week 1 is the introduction orientation. You can see as you get further into the pages, built into week 1 is your discussion check-in and your syllabus quiz. So it's important that you're going to be going through week 1. Okay, show you a couple of other modules. Here's a module on how to use Zoom. Here's a little module on different trainings that are offered by FEMA. Here's a module on the MSJC Criminal Justice Club, some cool websites, Bill of Rights, court system. Remember I talked about the midterm writing assignment has its own module. Here's the video on how to write your paper and how to cite your references. If you don't want to hear me talk, here's the PowerPoint. This is your actual assignment. Here's how to upload your paper. I haven't verified the tutor. We typically every semester have had a student AJ tutor. And if I'm able to get her again for this semester, I'll put her information in there, or I'll give you some other information, but I'll update this as we get closer to the start of the semester. Here is your case study, and it's the ticking time bomb scenario. Okay, and it's got all the same information along with some videos. Okay, so it's the same thing that is in your syllabus, but this is where the assignment is located. Okay, so hopefully that kind of makes sense to you. Same thing with your case study, your extra credit study, which is the Richard Jewell case. Okay, same thing. This is the other extra credit. So if I send something out that I want you to do, and it's possible extra credit, this is where you're going to upload it at. But wait until I send it out. I have some examples listed here, but don't just arbitrarily do it. Wait until I send information out. This is what a module looks like. So here is week 2, unit or chapter 1. All right. And you can click through this just like you would, like we did the orientation. So here's the unit overview or the chapter overview. Here's the chapter introduction, and there's a video that I want you to watch. Here's the PowerPoint lecture, just the slides. Here is and this is a 2-parter, about 30 minutes apiece, 60 minutes total. These are the video lectures, okay, for the chapter. Here's the key term non-graded matching exercise. This is your first quiz. And here's your first discussion question. So everything is in this module, all right? Now, one thing that's kind of new for some of you is what we call a discussion response video. In the past, what I've done is when each student posts their initial discussion post, I read it, I grade it, and then I respond back to them. Well, I did a survey over the last couple of semesters, and a lot of the students liked this idea of what we call like a wrap-up video. So I will go in towards the end of the week, read all of your discussion posts, and the comments that you do to other students, etc. So your discussions back and forth, etc. I will grade your discussion post, and then instead of responding to each one of you, I will make a quick 3 or 4 minute video talking about the topic, maybe my opinion, maybe the answer, maybe not the answer. It just depends on what the question really is or the topic is. And maybe even throw in what some of the students, basically what the overwhelming thought was for the majority of students. So that's the discussion response video. So something kind of new, okay? And then here, it's the end of the chapter. So you're done with chapter 1. And I have a couple of websites down here that you can look at. OIES is good for U.S. Supreme Court cases, Cornell law, and then a link to all kinds of different California codes. All right, so really quick as we're finishing up, I want to go to discussions and show you this. So you can access the discussions a couple of different ways. You can go to discussions here in the navigation. You can click on the donut shop. This is the general discussion area. You can see I'm subscribed to it. You can post a question here and either I'll answer it or another student can jump in. So, hey, where's the link to this? And another student might pop in and go, hey, it's over here. So everybody can post here, questions, whatever. The second discussion area is a little bit more private. It's called the squad car. And you can see I don't subscribe to that because that's just for student-to-student interaction, okay? Now, if you don't want to go here and click on the discussion link, you can click on the link here, Donut Shop, and it'll just take you right there. So you don't have to do that. I mean, you can do it either way. But I just wanted to kind of show you there's different options for getting there. So you can, start here is where you want to start as far as going through the orientation module. You can click here for the syllabus. You can click here for the syllabus, or you can go to the modular view or the donut shop. So hopefully this was helpful. I really hope that you learn a lot this course. We're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be super interesting. I really look forward to learning with all of you. But again, make sure during week 1 that you go through the entire orientation introduction module, because that includes the 2-part check-in. It includes the discussion board check-in and the syllabus quiz. Both parts you need to do in order to officially check into the class. And if you have any other questions, please let me know. And with that being said, that will conclude our video review of our course syllabus.